You've been listening to selections from a new EP that is coming out November 11th on Warp by Lorenzo Senni, who is sitting next to me.
Hi.
Composer, DJ, label owner of Presto Records. DJ, sort of.
Kind of.
And if you were at the pool on Sunday night, then you had the pleasure of seeing him perform from the water or from the stands. Can you tell me a little bit about what you were doing up there, like what you had on stage with you, what you were playing with?
Yeah, I had my usual setup was just my computer and a mixer, not a DJ mixer, like a small mixer that I use since 15 years. I always try to get the same one because I'm very fast making changes, even if it's not the best one. Sometimes technician asks like, do you really want that one? Because maybe they have a big Midas, you know. But I'm faster with that, and it's okay for me. And yeah, and so my laptop, the mixer in the middle, and the synthesizer in my case.
Which synthesizer?
Is a JP8080. Is a Roland synthesizer, and the one I used for my last 3 records, 6 years, that I'm almost using only that one to make all the sounds that you find in my records. And yeah, the computer is sending MIDI notes to the synthesizer. Sometimes the computer is also playing some synth line that I'm not able to do it live. But most of the time is only the synthesizer playing, and yeah, it's just like it's very basic what the computer is sending to the synthesizer, and I'm using the filter. I'm using the delay. Is a synthesizer that I think is very was made to be fast. When you're using it, is fast. Delay is probably not the best delay, but it fits really well in the architecture of the synthesizer. The filter is good because when they put together the synth, they add the problems with. It's a digital synthesizer, so they had the problems with a lot of digital noise in the high frequency range, so they had to think about a good filter to, smooth this kind of problems. It's just like for my point of view, my taste is very well made, and I'm fast working with them. So with it, I'm using in my studio, and then I bring it live.
Okay, we're going to get back to your favorite synth in just
later.
A little while.
I start when I start speaking about this synth, I can go. You have to stop me because I'm obsessed with it. So,
A lot of people who've heard your music are hearing elements of the synths and the arpeggios of trance, but without the kick drums and the other things that make trance what it is. What's interesting is that trance is not something that you grew up with, really.
No, not at all. But they think I am a master of trance.
Well, you're on your way.
Yeah, I'm building up this career in trance music, but I don't know much about that.
So, what was it that got you into music in the first place? Okay. Like, what were the first records that you were buying when you were old enough to have money, like buy your own records?
I remember going to buy Spckrft, but this was with my mom, so it's not with my money, so it doesn't count, right? No,
it somewhat counts.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I was just like listening to Green Day. I remember Green Day and Offspring and Spice Girls. It's a terrible combination. I don't know, but yeah. So not just normal, very young kid that. I was not buying Fugazi record when I was 12. No.
Well, part of this is where you're from, right? Can you tell me a little bit, what's the name of your hometown? How many people live there? Where is it?
My hometown is very small, like 1,000 people living there. But the biggest city is Cesena. Rimini is on the Adriatic coast, like 5 minutes from the beach. It's a very touristic place, and so I grew up in this area where it's not New York City. It's not that you have many inputs. If not like the TV on or the radio or just your friends, there maybe are a bit more advanced old friends that maybe they have some like more interesting things to show you. It was a slow growing process through music, discover many things, but it was slow. I can see compared to kids that grow up in just Milan, where I live now, it's just different. But now with the internet is totally different. But I was not really using the computer at that time, so slowly get interest into music. Like I started to play guitar, classic guitar, taking lessons. My father was buying a lot of records too, so family was supportive.
Let's play something that you were also listening to when you were young. So if anybody's read an interview with you, they probably know that you were sort of in between this hardcore punk scene or rock scene and also something else. Well, let's play this first and then we can talk about it. Well, I hope everybody likes Italian gabber as much as we do. That's some guys called the Stunned Guys, who are actually from around where you're from.
Yeah. You can say from the accent. But yeah, the thing is that Bim Bum Bam is a TV show for kids, and all this extreme music coming from Italy have a big side of irony. Big part of, especially like text, the lyrics. It's funny. So when you are young, you are a bit attracted by it because it's not like music in English that when you're very young you don't understand the lyrics, and then sometimes you are bored about listening Italian pop music. So this is kind of a good compromise of like, nice, you I know Bim Bum Bam, it's like you watching TV when you are 12, and then they like put this. It's very easy that very young people listening to this stuff, because there are also small stories at the beginning. So it's
what were they saying at the beginning?
It's like, give me a beer. No, I don't want to give you. Like, please give me a beer. Like, and it's not poems, It's just.
So, in what instance did you encounter this music? Like, take me back to what was going on in your life when you were hearing this.
This was when I was 14, 15, 16. because my very best friends from my small hometown, they were listening to this stuff. Friends that I know since when I'm born, or like someone that is coming from the very small town 2 kilometers away that is 1,000 people too. So during the weekends, I was not going to school. I spend the time with my friends in our small bars. So I was listening to this stuff or just hanging out with them. But when I was at school during the week, I was hanging out with a very different group of people that they were like into punk, hardcore, and I was playing with them. So kind of two extremes that make sense at the end, It's like two extremes that. And I was in between, because my really best friends were the one that I was going out, and the other was just playing music together, and of course go to the rehearsal, spend time during the lessons, between the lessons, and this I grew up in this exact situation that make me discover this music, but I don't know much about that. I know many tracks. I've listened to so many tracks. I experienced so many club nights in these huge 7,000 people clubs that you have in Italy. But I don't know much. I didn't know much. I was not that curious. I was just experiencing that in a passive way, but
so when you say you didn't know much, you mean you weren't collecting the tracks?
No. I was not even buy record. I was not even asking to my friend what is this and what is that. But when you are in the car with them, when you are going to out, and I liked the big clubs, and when you grow up in this kind of context is not that unusual. It's very common to go there. So,
you said something interesting to me yesterday. Well, I was asking about you hanging out with the gabber warriors on one side and the hardcore kids on the other side, which now makes sense. But when you're young, it's like unthinkable to be into both of those things, maybe. And you said that the only way that you learned that the only way that you could get by was just like by being really yourself, like by not. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I realize now that I was not having problems that maybe had many young kids when you have to be something, and if you are in between is kind of difficult, just hanging out with people and be accepted. But I was myself with both group of people, and this was the key of being accepted, hanging out, and be respected from what I was a big part. I learned from the hardcore and punk hardcore ideas, but this was a clear example in real life. When you say like, be yourself, like, okay, what it means. Yeah, it means just like, being accepted from what you are from very different people. Because like when everyone is, we will speak maybe later, but when everyone is very high on drugs, someone is selling drugs, I've like something there in their underwear, like that they have to go to sell, and you are not taking drugs. Being accepted is fun. I mean, it can be a difficult process, but I was just like, okay, guys, this is what is this.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of your stuff that comes later, I mean, your concept of being a rave voyeur maybe comes from being a straight edge kid and kicking back and being like clear-headed while you're watching everybody else party and get fucked up.
It's just now that I realize that, but it's very interesting that kind of experiencing this, but from a very different point of view, enjoying it, but not being interested really in all the things that were happening, but not really judging. Was very important to develop this idea of rave voyeurism that I transposed in my music, or I tried, I don't know, because it's been just what I was doing, just being a voyeur of this kind of like club raves, just like be seated. But not in a negative way. Like maybe I was not dancing like all my friends. They were like looking at me and like I was like. I had great fun. But maybe I was looking. I was way more conscious of what was happening around me. So I was like, she is cute, or like my friends were like. And this track, this I like. Maybe something like more melodic. That's why I went back to trance. This more melodic was this I like. But then I was not getting back to my friends asking like, what the name of this track? No, just like. So this was what I was doing when I was a kid, and then like on Monday, just speak about punk, hardcore, and like, how do you do with this thing?
All right, let's hear a little bit of maybe the hardcore that you were listening to. Just thought I'd play some straight edge hardcore in case nobody in this building has ever heard any. No, I kind of curious because I was looking at the old covers and stuff from this time and thinking about your music, which often your EPs and your releases have a concept to them and an aesthetic and a look. And actually I was reading that your Warp release was inspired by the record label that Ray, who is the singer of Youth of Today, used to run. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was wondering how much of your aesthetic inspiration comes from listening, the stuff that you listened to when you were younger. And
I like when I was into this stuff, and I was looking at the records and. The simplicity of like this big Youth of Today, Better Than 1,000, Warzone, but like the simplicity of the name of the band and the title, and just one beautiful picture of someone jumping in the crowd. This was very beautiful to me. I think I still love it. I still speak with my friends. We still go through images of rare T-shirt that you can find on eBay because it's very simple, very effective, and I don't know. It's beautiful to me. So. When I am thinking to put together something that is not only the music but the visual side, I always go back there. And this time for this EP, we wanted to be with my friend. I worked with my friend. That is, it has a background on it too. So we wanted to give it even more, this idea. So we went, we were checking all the record cover, and we found a beautiful banner that Revelation record is one of the most famous, not only straight edge hardcore label, but is one of the put together most famous record. And so we went, we found this beautiful banner of a Japanese versions, and we went, okay, now we're gonna do like the design, we're gonna do very similar, because it was important to us to have this very clear connection, and we had to tell to Warp like, we want the logo in this color. Like, are you sure? Because we don't really do it, but we really want it. It's important for us. Like, no one is gonna discover that. But every single thing always been important to me, that to put together the concept. And visually speaking, this time I went back there. Also the Ed Atkins cover, the image is this guy looking. We cannot. We don't have. Okay, it's just is this guy looking through a hole? Is this guy looking through a hole? And this guy is bald. Is bald because if you look back to the straight edge crew, youth crew pictures, they are all bald. So it's fun for me in the process of put together everything. It's fun to me, and it's important to have every single element that makes sense. I think this is a fun part of my job, and that is 95% not fun, maybe. Because it's like fun make music. Because no, it's terrible. Because if you try to make something interesting, it's not fun. Because like I had some discussion with some artist that I can tell the name. But there's like there was this article about it was so much fun to put together this record. Like, I never had fun to put. I mean, I understand the idea of fun, but it's not related with put together a record or put together something that is interesting. You can, as I was reading a lot of interviews when I was young, like, you cannot use the word fun when 20 years old guy are reading your interview, because it's not fair. It's not that thing. And I understand what you mean, but from your position, you cannot use the word fun. It's like terrible.
Well,
to make something that satisfies you and you think like, I think should be a bit terrible.
That's a good segue into something else I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
That sounds like it might have been kind of terrible at times. You were working in a factory in your hometown. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that, because you worked there in the summer. Yeah. What were you doing?
Since I was 16, I worked in a factory for 3 months. But in my hometown, if you need some money and you're going to school during the year, you work at the summer in the summer, and you can decide, or you're working at the beach because there is a lot of tourists, so there is a lot of work, or you doing all the other jobs. You're
not really a beach kind of guy?
No, I was going there to hang out, but I was not in the pool last night, and I was not in. It all makes sense. So I'm not really a beach guy, but I was working for 11 summers in a row. So 2016 to 27.
Doing what exactly?
Just like a very repetitive job. It was this big, huge machine. I don't know how to call it. It was a seed factory, seeds. So this big machine was like every 30 seconds there was a 25 kilograms bag to put in a pallet, like, layers of 12, 5 for 12, all day. It's pretty. But I had my headphones on all time because the owner of the factory allowed only me to do that. This is a good story. And now he thinks that he's very proud because he doesn't have a family, and he's a music lover. So he really is really proud and think he helped me to develop my career in music. So he's following me on Facebook and sharing everything. And he was a metalhead. So when after a couple of years I was there, he discovered that I was buying online records for all my friends. Because I got a credit card when I went in the States when I was 18, and then I could buy online. Worst decision of buying records for your friends online. But okay. So I was buying records for him, and we had a great relationship. Every summer I was coming back, and this helped me because I bought Gibson Les Paul, piano, then cymbals for my drum kit. I started Presto. The first 3 CDs was out because of that money. Every year I had some I already spent in my mind, So I had just to collect the money and then put. But it's a common thing in all my friends involved in punk hardcore music was doing that. Was okay, we're gonna make the money and then release our stuff, print our T-shirt, make our stickers. I like this idea of making things.
So you learned pretty early on that music was correlated with work in some way.
It's about work. This morning I was up 5 in the morning. I put my alarm at 5 in the morning because my EP was announced today with a track, and in London they start to work at 10, so 5, and I put the alarm, and everyone was like, "What you doing?" Because I was sending emails, like, "What you're doing up?" And I'm not going to sleep while my record is being announced. I'm here to follow. This I have to learn of following a bit less, but I was doing that since many years. So I'm like, okay, is the sticker in the record cover fitting well? It's like this kind of thing.
So you were playing drums for a lot of years, and I read that you said that it saved you. What did you mean by that? Saved you from getting into trouble?
Yes, but strange troubles. Weird troubles. Yeah.
Weird troubles.
Yeah, it was very important to learn discipline through playing drums. Like with discipline with myself. So yeah, it was a very particular moment in my life, and I get obsessed, and I met this very good teacher, a jazz teacher, quite famous in Italy, and I started to play drums because I wanted to put together a band, and as it's all as almost is always almost like that. There are no drummers and so I said, okay, I will start play drums. And I was studying 5-6 hours a day, and I learned a lot from this period, because this teacher said to me, like, one of the first lessons, like, do you, he asked me something like, do you have a pillow or do you sleep? I was, of course, I sleep, you know. Oh, okay, great. You don't need to, you're fine for the next 3 months. Like, what do you mean? I need to rent my drum kit, you know. I wanted to have, no, you need just your pillow and practice on it. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, no, okay. And it was so good that he convinced me. So I was studying, and this was very important. Discipline on your passion that meets discipline, I think, is a very powerful combo.
And how did you get from ditching the drums and starting to get obsessed with keyboards and software?
Because I started to get drum lessons around 16, 17, and then after a couple of years, I started the university in Bologna. So I was there every day. And I started discovering the electronic music world, and there was a very good. I studied the musicology, and there was a very good library. I could go through very expensive book and records. And Bologna is quite famous for musicology, so I think. Really helped me to discover things more than learn, discover. Then I learn by myself. So yeah, I discovered like 50s, 60s electronic music, listen to it, and get always more interested about how I was working, put together these sounds. I start work with Max MSP, Super Collider. In the same times, I started to play with people that were using synthesizer, a very smooth journey through the genres. So yeah, that was around 1920 that I discovered Alvanoto, finesse, more experimental, the experimental side. Because my background was in rock. I don't really know how to use CDJ for real and all this stuff. That's why DJ, okay.
Sometimes.
So yeah, music software. Start studying by myself sound synthesis, Curtis Rhodes, stuff you need to know when you facing a new world. So like, what's the thing I have to read? That's.
There you go, studying again.
Yeah. And then what I was doing was put together Max MSP Super Collider patches and record almost everything that what I was doing. I was just recording hours and hours. While you programming, you can make sounds and then just like change stuff, and it's developing continuously. So I was recording everything, and to put together tracks, I was going through all the recordings, just take out the small parts that I liked, I put aside. And then I was going back to this and put together a track, let's say. And this was how I did my first 2 records, like early works. That to everyone, the first reviews of early works was the title of my first record. Everyone would say, "Oh, this guy is starting already with early works. He's so pretentious." I was like, "There's gonna be my early works forever anyway, no?" Like, I haven't recorded something earlier than this. So it's like, why don't put this out now instead in 20 years? No, it's my early works.
But you also liked that it was kind of funny or kind of ironic to say that.
I have to say that the music that I was following, especially like Mego, that became Editions Mego, and all the artists I was following in that period, always had this approach to electronic music that was some irony on it, but was not that in your face, just very subtle. But this is, if you look through all the pioneers of electronic music, there is always this idea of enjoying what you're doing while experimenting. Maybe, again, I believe that put together a record with an idea is a different thing. But the moment when you are experimenting with your stuff, you can enjoy it. And if you look through these notes of what they're doing, there is always this kind of, we are enjoying, we are having fun, using certain language that probably no one is going to understand, just a few guys that are obsessed with. So it's just a way to make it more, pleasant. Maybe, I don't know, just... But when you put some data in a computer, you have to wait 30 minutes. You're not waiting depressed. You want to maybe you eat something. So it's not a depressing way of making music, no. Even if you're waiting for a result. So I believe there was this behind everything.
So is there a track off early works that you particularly like or you want to play?
I don't even remember. Maybe we can... the third one. The first one. Let's do the first one. It doesn't matter.
Okay, this one is called Spckrft. Well, this is very much less euphoric than what you're making now.
Yeah. I was euphoric, more inside than outside. It was. This was really like Editions Mego and like Raster Noto times. I was really following, and I think you can hear. There's not good like them, but you can listen. You can tell, and it was just experimenting. For me was also a new word. It's easy to get excited very easily. You get excited, and you find after a couple of years that like fuck. I think I learned of like keep the enthusiasm, like level of enthusiasm. That I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow too. But yeah, this was days where I was really experimenting with the softwares, and that was these records were the result of what I was learning. And that was very important because I got my first shows, and you learn to take care of your sound outside your bedroom. But it's a slow process. But you learn what it means to present your sounds outside of your bedroom. This is very important too. So I think that was I'm happy that I put out this record. Maybe are not changing the history of the music, but give me the chance to travel a bit, and not waiting just for waiting for when my first record is gonna be a masterpiece, you know. I'm gonna wait till I have all the gear, all the studio, and thanks God I was not waiting that. Because you need to learn, then you need to go back in your bedroom, then you need to go outside again, go back with the feedbacks, and out and in, you know?
So what kinds of things were you learning on your first tour about live shows? I mean, you had played live already with bands.
I was playing a lot with bands, but it's different because with bands in Italy we say mal comune mezzo gaudio. It means that if you're doing something wrong, but you split with three, is less painful, or you have less responsibility. So it's it sounds shit, but who doesn't care, you know? When you are on your own, you care a bit much, you know. Then maybe you like the people that you're playing with, so you don't really care. I know that they're doing good, so maybe if I sound shit, it's okay, you know. So when you are on your own, you care much, I think. And in a band, the dynamics are different. There is always one that cares more than everyone, you know. And there is always that one. And I was playing with two twins at that time, so very strange dynamics. I always toured with bands, but in 2009 I did 2009 I did my very first big tour, all put together by myself, all just speaking by email. MySpace? No, maybe it was already gone. All through friends, all through friends of friends. 18 gigs in Europe, all by train. That was incredible. I think I lost 200 euros doing that tour. Better than many bands that are coming. But yeah, it was. I think they are very important, this experience, and we tend not doing anymore this kind of adventures related to your music. You have 10 people listening to it. It's not the end of the world is if you're sounding shit, but after 10 gigs you're sounding better. And this is vital for sounding good after 10 years, maybe. You always learn, but these adventures are not costing much because you have a lot of energies, and it's a great experience. So yeah, you met people that after 10 years they're running bigger clubs after 10 years. Again, I realize now that what I'm doing and my ideas are linked a lot to the DIY punk hardcore shows, meeting. If you are happy with one promoter in Berlin, you're gonna play always with them because they like your music. If the show went well, you know, it's also very important to make this kind of relationship with people. But the starting point is the passion, because if you start when there are 5 people, it's just about that. It's not about money. And again, it worked it works for me. I like this way.
Let's play a little bit of La Harmacy. It's video number 2. So this was your band with the 2 twins. And you did a bunch of different stuff, but there's some other videos which are kind of the roots of things that you did later, like your AAT performance and stuff like that. But let's watch this. Number 2.
This was a theater of a church. I mean, in a very small town in Italy, you know, probably 90 years old people watching too. Like, yeah, you know, these things you learn that there are no rules. No, so what is, you know, what is right, good or not in music, or like what you can do on a stage or not. Like, no, you have to mix right, or you know, no, you cannot use a laptop here. You know, so, like what? Obviously, this again, like is not changing the history of the music, but you learn when you play. When I played in Japan, again, like tour all made by myself. And I played during one night, there was this project named Naked Mozart. You say like Naked Mozart. No, it was this guy singing naked over a girl playing Mozart with violin. Okay. Literally Naked Mozart. And then there was a guy that did the sound check 30 minutes, put all his pedals. Then he jumped on the anyway, that was the sound check. Then he jumped on the PA, and he just like turned on asked to the technician to turn on the sound. It was like huge harsh noise, like, and then he jumped on the pedals and it stopped. And then there was again a band like of 6 people, like amps and everything, that they played 2 minutes, you know. And I was like, okay, you know, there are 3 projects before me. I'm gonna like relax. And after 20 minutes, I had to play already, and it was like I played probably 30 minutes, and it was like a scene. You know, everyone probably was bored because like, oh, how long is he playing? But you know, it's great, and you don't learn only about the music. You learn when you go in a club, and you get your itinerary, and you have your manager, your tour manager, and everyone say like, we don't have that mixer. You know, I saw 18 years kids go crazy. But if you experienced all this, it's like, okay, what mixer you have? You know, just because it happened to me hundreds of times. You know, you learn that we are running 3 hours late. Okay, it's like. But then when in a big festival they run 30 minutes late, you are no problem. We don't have this, but we have this. Okay, I mean, it's better when everything is ready, but you learn also all these things that are part of your job.
What was the first thing that made you get interested in trance?
Because when I was looking at electronic music software, I discovered some sounds, and I just discovered that all these sounds were coming from maybe I like because it was I was listening with my friends 10 years ago, and then I started asking them, but can you give me like your 300 CDs that I want to rip in my computer? My friends are like, now you're listening to this stuff? Kind of. I want to check what's going on, and I went through hundreds of thousands of YouTube videos, both many trance compilation, because of the sound, because I discovered that this sound was interesting. Then I started looking at the tracks, and there was this build-up that, what is this? Every trance track have a build-up around 40 seconds, 1 minute. It depends, but it's always around there. And the build-up is just there is a breakdown. Everything is fall apart a bit, and then they have to take you back to the kick. I realized that there was the most interesting part in this genre, so with these sounds, because the other parts with the kick and the drum, it's what define the genre, but it's closed, because if the genre is defined by that, so it needs to be locked in a very closed formula. But the build-up was the only part where a musician could express himself, let's say, composer or whatever it is. And it's interesting because it's a very functional part too. So the function is like taking you back to the kick from the falling bass, but is more open. You can be more technical. You can more atmosphere. You can be more aggressive. This with musical elements, so it's like music, counterpoint, really like, and this really was the thing that got me into trance, and the first thing I did was just going through hundreds of tracks and take out the build-up. Because I just put together a big archive of build-ups, and I was curious to see how it was working. And I started to put together mixes made out of build-ups. And I got very bad reviews from the wires. And was great because I was expecting that, so I was going in the right direction, I think, because I was the very first time I did in Italy, and Rock Evil.
Rock is the guy behind the project.
Yeah,
Evil.
Yeah.
Who are on your label, Presto?
Yeah, I released on and he saw me doing that in Milan for the very first time, and he said, like, after a few months, he invited me to do it in Barcelona in a very different context, because it was a seated auditorium with quite a lot of people, and Florian Ecker, Phil Niblock, kind of like institution of like academic, non-academic, but just like, good musician.
Pretty serious experimental electronic setting.
Exactly. So I did that, and it was just one of the first experiment of also like how the people could react to that. To these like 45-50 minutes of build-ups taken from trance tracks, just looped in the way that sounds like looped very precisely. The sounds like it's coming, but it's always the same loop. So after a while, you realize that not even the filter is not opening, like the delay is not coming, like is not growing. There was forced in the way that people could realize that, and was very interesting to see the reaction and all these first experiments. Like in Rome, people were very angry with me because it was like opening of a big gallery, and they asked me to play. Everyone could come inside and drink for free, so there was like drunk people, like listen, like they start like DJ boom boom, like asking for the kick. It's like it's not coming, like it's like. And it was even like I need like they need to wait 30 minutes. So it's like DJ boom boom. And after a while, I saw that were like a bit aggressive, and they started fight each other, and they were kicked out. I was so happy. I was like, wow. It's like so this expectation not given. It's very powerful, especially because we are our brain is educated to okay, now it's gonna be the drop. So this expectation not fully satisfied is really something that could that touch you in some way if you are in the mood.
How does it make you feel to listen to 40 minutes of build-ups with no resolution?
Honestly, I could listen I can listen one. If I choose that one, I could listen forever. That's what I was doing with tracks. You know, when you put a track, and I don't know if you ever experienced that, but with the pop tracks or tracks you like a lot, I put it and I put back on at the beginning before it's finished. I cannot wait to listen it again. And this is just like when you put a repeat on your, it's just that. But I want only the part. I don't want to even wait for the bridge or the wait for the verse that take me to the chorus. Let's just go there forever,
Euphoria forever. Or you also...
But that changed the perception, because if it's forever, it's not... forever is... if it's there forever, is not that euphoric anymore. So it changed a bit, shape-shifting, became something other, I think.
You came up with this, a few rad rave slogans, one of which is Pointillistic Trance.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Very nothing more that when I start to make my music, and put together the ideas that what I was thinking through listening to build-ups, and try to make music out of this. I just started with the shortest sound ever, like on my synth, the ADSR, like attack, decay. So it was just like all down, like not even you can not recognize the note. So and the process was just opening the envelope just a bit, that I could like the timbre and the note, and I could hear a note. This was my starting point, because I realized if I had a very short sound, I had more room to open up it. So if I start to the shortest sound that satisfies me, then from there I have more room, And that's why I started to call it Pointillistic, because I was just doing that all the time. Just like starting with the shortest sounds I could get that I was happy with. And then I could just open up to all, to all the envelope, like just go very epic. But this process was very important to me.
Well, let's hear this song called Pointillistic. This is off 2014's Superimpositions. So if you're making these tracks that don't need to have a resolution or a build up or a drop or whatever, how do you know when they're done?
It's a good question. My idea is not to have something really finished, but not because I like the idea of having an open art piece. It's just like it all started to listening to stuff like a build-up for 2 hours, because maybe I was just working and leave it on and work on my emails. So the idea is just to have to get there is like a timeline and just have a cut on that. That's why that's the reason why some of my tracks just start that looks like, oh, what, I put the needle in the middle of the record. No, it just starts because it means that it's already full on. It's just a cut in a timeline. You don't need to wait for that is growing. It's just there, like, and so it is on purpose that I have an idea that, okay, this track it works in this way, but could be whatever. Maybe this is because we need to relate with the idea of put together a record with some tracks. I'm not out of this dynamics that the record have a length. We dealing with formats, it's fine. But is like in my new record, the last track is 5 minutes and start very just like looks like it's a mistake and that seems that there is another mistake, like I need to give this idea, and my only elements is the music, because I'm not giving a lecture before my concerts. So I try to, with my records, not an instruction manual. It's just like, what is it? And I don't want that. But I really like to give strong inputs to realize what is happening. Then it's whatever is.
Do you have all your records had concepts in mind for them, or how do you design putting together an album? Since you are a record label owner yourself, you must think about.
Yeah, I used this to convince myself that everything is working, but the track themselves, I want that work for people that they don't know about what is behind. That's why I really care about the melody. It's I hope it's working also for who doesn't know what's happening. So I really care about the melodies, and I spend a lot of time to take care of it. Then I send the notes to my synth, and but the process is put together notes on my computer on a piano roll. So this is the process, and yeah, I mean, the fact that I have a label, it brings me back to the fact that I have to deal with formats. What we are doing, a CD, or we're doing a vinyl, a cassette, that need to be coherent with what you want to do.
So hang on, you draw the MIDI notes in the piano roll and then you send it to the synth first rather than playing it on the keyboard
yeah. I'm not... I can do it, but it's all like... It's I say computer generation, you know, like snack on the left and you know, mouse or trackpad on the right. This is computer generation. You eat and you... So yeah, and then I send notes and then I take care of the sound. But that helped me because I really care of using my synthesizer and my preset. So when I'm traveling, it means that I can't make music. No, I can make the melodies and work on this side. Then when I come back or I find a synthesizer, then I go there.
Do you think that listening to all of these euphoric trance melodies all the time has changed you as a person?
I'm a romantic person anyway. No, I'm joking. But you know, it's like sugar. More you have, more you want, but then you reach a point that you are really full and say like, maybe I stop drink sugary stuff for a while. I'm interested on different things that are making the trance of this genre so emotional, but it's not. It doesn't. No, it's not that. I don't like trance. If I like trance, I make trance. You know, that's why I'm getting angry because with people to say like trance master. You know, like no, I don't like. It's recorded this. I don't like trance because if I was liking trance, I was doing that. I'm not doing that. I have fun with keywords and I want to challenge people and myself for first. So
I want to listen to something from another project of yours, which is called Stargate, which you mentioned that you're a romantic, and I guess Stargate is a little bit more the more romantic side.
Too much? No.
Never too much. This song is called Driving Hyperreal. Let's hear it, and then we'll talk about Stargate a little bit. So how does it make you feel to hear that Stargate song?
I was thinking about it, and there is, again, always the synthesizer that is making always the same loop, because Stargate is born because I wanted to explore things I couldn't allow me to explore with my personal project, because maybe it was the too rigid the system I was working with that I built around it. So Stargate is born just because I wanted to make something that was more free. And I released 3 tracks on a friend label. Everything came out very smoothly. friend label, but I played so many concerts as a Stargate because that is the kind of thing that crossover electronic music, and I played a lot of indie festival in rock venues, because not in this track but in other tracks there is guitar solos on the top of trancey synths, and was something that and was something very epic. And yeah, it was just like a side project that became very important to me, because I had always to keep him away. Always, like, he was always and always I learned a lot on making music as Lorenzo Senni because of Stargate. Because Stargate is, I always say that, is the romantic, is the one who wants to always take over. So it was a very good thing to have this project, just because it was a constantly remind what I didn't want to have in my music. Now.
Which is what?
I wanted my music sound very dry, very like I don't know how to say. Yeah, dry maybe is like just like a template, you know. That's why I say like template trance or a flat trance or whatever is it. I want it to be like just a track that is working, but is showing just the structure, just the very like the skeleton, just like the. And if you put too many things, it's just gonna like make it more difficult to see. That's why like Stargate is a full-on emotions and like small riffs and noises. I was just exploring this side of music that I couldn't allow to be part of the Lorenzo Senni project.
Are you allowing it more now?
Yeah. That's I think. Why I'm interested now on develop my music. I mean, I could make many records that sound like Quantum Jelly or Superimposition. It's just a matter of put together a melody that I like, just send everything to my presets, and that's the recipe, you know. That's almost everything. No, I want to develop this, and I have to have a confrontation with that guy that is always there, and the new EP is a bit in the middle. It was a chance to put together things that I was working in, and like, okay, let's try to make a very consistent project out of what I'm doing since 6-7 years, and so the new EP is less rigid. And that's why I call it rave voyeurism. I bring back this idea of voyeurism. It's no more about what I'm doing in my synth, but it's more about like the observing something, more the context and the environment that. Me doing things like Pointillistic Trance with envelope down. It's more from higher point of view that you know.
It's kind of building upon the things that you did before.
Yeah. I try to put together a more mature sound out of what I'm doing through trying to develop things and keep respectful to what I did before. That's why it's not. I mean, for me, it's my job. Before is my passion, but to be satisfied, to make choices requires a lot of discipline, requires a lot of struggle, and this why I don't want to use the word fun to put together a record. Then when I'm here, like playing the pool with DJ Stingray, that's the fun part. Going to dinner with, that's the fun part. So.
If we can go back to the live stuff for just a second, I wanted to show some footage of you performing a concert called AAT at CTM Festival in Berlin. And speaking of studying, maybe you can explain how you made this show, because you went to Stockholm to EMS, right, to work on it.
AAT stands for Advanced Abstract Trance, and is a piece that I put together, always changing a bit, but is around 40 minutes of, let's say, a bit more aggressive build-ups again, and breakdown and falling basses taken from hard style, hardcore, hard trance, instead of that trance emotional build-up. Is a bit more aggressive, and it's just a piece that works together with the CO2 cannons. Do you know what is it, CO2 cannons? Like, when you are in Ibiza or a big festival, you have this. Seems like is smoke, is not smoke, is CO2, like when there is the drop, you have this one. This, it's like 200 euros every for real, like even more, depends how many you have. And is not smoke, is CO2, and is cold air, fresh air. That's why everyone is like, yes. And this music piece, it works in the way that I'm seated very, very. How do you say, like? I'm seated, I'm not playing standing, I'm sitting in front of my computer and the piece is running. I just do a few EQ and reverb, but the piece is already there. And 4 times, there is this interludes made of CO2 cannons patterns. So I play in an auditorium or like, and people are listening to these very aggressive build-ups, and then everything fall apart, and there is these patterns played by the CO2 cannons. Because I want to use them in a more musical way. But the idea behind using them is because this, again, is a signal of a drop, euphoria, signal of euphoria, You could watch a festival from like 10 kilometers in the mountain. You see the festival, you don't listen to music, but you see the CO2 cannon, it's like euphoria. Build the drop. You don't even know, and everyone is used that every time you do it, it's like shh. It's like Pavlov's dog, And is very strong. Is very strong input, and I know it's refreshing that it works, but I wanted to use in a musical way and not in the way that we are used to experience it. So the cannons are usually 4 in the corners, and you don't know when you don't know that is gonna happen because the lights are all on, and I'm standing there. Actually, I'm in the tech rider. I'm asking for Red Bulls because this is again one thing that is very important to me. This is like famous to be like energy drink that give you, you know, like this energy. And Red Bull is also like a constant. Is part of being a club now. It's part of being raving, whatever is it. So I have 4 Red Bull in my table, and I'm drinking all the 4 Red Bulls, but I'm standing like this. And people, I swear, people ask me like, how can you stay that still while you play and you drink 3 Red Bull? That's again like why this guy is drinking Red Bull and he stays still, like it's again like you expect someone drinking Red Bull and get like, wah. No, it's something that is all like everything, every little thing is made this like to make understand people understand what we are experiencing or what not, and what we waiting for. So yeah, I had angry people too at these shows because, but it's interesting to me to have also the chance to play with these other elements that are part of the context that I care. Yeah. So CO2 cannons are part of it.
Well, let's see this footage if you're epileptic or just faint of heart. Sorry.
What is it? I don't know.
I don't think it'll be that bad on the screen.
It just leave the cannons get empty because is a beautiful analog noise because it's very loud and is beautiful and change the pressure inside the how do you call the big
Cylinder. Somebody said.
There is a big cylinder. When it changes the pressure, it is filtering it. You know, so you have this beautiful 1 minute of filter that is again built up because it's a glissando. So it's everyone is like. But actually, it's beautiful. You will never hear a noise like this. You know? And so yeah, it's again, but this it's CO2. We did in small places, and I was almost because if you have too much CO2 in the air, you start a bit, and you know you have to. They don't allow you to do everywhere, or you know.
Yeah, I could see that some people being blasted with cold CO2 sitting down might not be very happy about that.
It's fresh, then it become cold. It's just like it works when you are in Ibiza, you know, and in that situation, maybe you don't really want to, you know.
We're going to open it up to participant questions in just a little bit, but before we stop, I want to talk about your label called Presto, which you've been running since 2008 and really runs alongside your work. And you've learned a lot about the music biz, but also your own work from running this label.
Yeah.
So what was the idea of starting it in the first place?
Was because I liked so much the some people work that I wanted to have something to do with them. Really or you at the first you want to be them, no? I want to be. I wish I could have done this record. But then you give up. It's not. And you realize, okay, like what's the closest thing I can do with them is like collaborate on something, put out a record, and then is all cultural cannibalism. I just want to, have something with them. And the label started in my bedroom, and I, all by myself, just like send the record to print with mistakes, because just the cover, this part, this logo look pixelated. Okay, now it's gone. It's printed, Okay, but then then you learn. And you learn how to speak with other artists. You learn how to take yourself more serious, because you have to speak with someone that maybe is already his job making music. You have to be very respectful of every aspect. Was taking like one afternoon to send to put together one email, right? Google Translate, check how is spelled that record, and then send and build up credibility. Just like, okay, probably if I released this artist, probably now I can ask him, because they are, and then it's like, oh, now that I'm here, I can ask him. It's very important to be aware of what you can. I get some, we were speaking, I get some messages from 18 years old kids, very enthusiastic, asking me to put together, like 6 months ago, to put out a cassette, 15 copies. You can do that. It's better if you don't. You really need to be aware of what you can ask to, And
you mean like what level you're at and who you can ask to do what?
Just like be aware of everything, because you're gonna meet this guy again, and it's very important to be respectful in this with their work and what they are, because
like don't ask Aphex Twin.
You don't ask like, can we release
cassette copies on your label that nobody ever heard of?
No. And
so who was the first person that you put out?
John Udak.
And how did you come across him or his work? Is it somebody you knew?
No,
already?
I mean I had the records of him. He's a field recordist, and he probably released the 300 record in his life. So I could see that maybe he was interested to put out something without too much. Without complaining that is not distributed everywhere, And then Greg Davis was a guy who collaborated with him, but was already on Cranky, this label. Just small steps. And I released my heroes, like Florian Ecker, that made me spend a fortune to produce his record.
So you got to Florian Hecker because of one of your releases before, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From Marcus Schmickler, who was a friend of Florian Hecker. So you had a little plan.
He probably I'm sure he emailed Marcus Schmickler asking, how is Lorenzo, how is Presto working? It works like that. Especially in a kind of underground or small context. So it's, you need to be good. Respectful, and be clear of what you can give or what you can't give. And it's all about that.
And the Florian Heckler release, you made it with the money that you made working in the factory.
This was extreme, because it's this one, and I was already thinking, whatever he's gonna propose me, I'm gonna say yes. So he proposed me this double 10-inch with pink fluopantone and green fluopantone with the double varnish with Pantone even on the label. It's like, you know, in 10-inch cost more than the 12 because the is less common to print. So I mean, like I was like 4,000 or 4,500 euros. Oh, okay, let's do it, you know. But at the end, I got the money back, but in a few years. It was just like, I'm gonna do that, whatever he's gonna propose me. And yeah, so and then I worked also with people that I just met randomly on the internet, and we built up a good relation. And Presto was the reason why the music is their job now. So I'm really happy. And yeah, maybe
is there a mission statement for the label?
No, never been like a talent scout. No, it was more my personal taste. Just release what I like, really like, and but the label is very small but respected. So when I met through the internet this guy Palmistry, that now he released on a Mixpack, I just said like, Benji, I love your stuff. I think that is a bit this is difficult to understand what's happening here. Why don't we put out a record made of these tracks that you have on SoundCloud? Because even in 2016, if a record is out, it gives you this kind of like, you have the project is more consistent. People maybe take it more seriously, or just like people that follows the label will check it out. And we made it, and then he signed on Mixpack and get Warp Publishing, all out of this record. And that was very... I really liked to work on this project. And yeah, so...
And you also released something from DJ Stingray, who you played with at the pool.
I just got the...
Can we hear a bit of that?
Actually, this is... Because... DJ Sting, I contacted DJ Stingray again, like because was making sense to me asking him to do something for the label, because Russell as well gave me his contact, and when Russell as well curated and at All Tomorrow parties with the Aphex Twin, they invited also DJ Stingray. So DJ Stingray was aware of this scene, even if was coming from a different content, was aware of like more computer music scene. And so I asked him, and he said, of course, I know these guys, and let's do it. And this was before a credit card shaped USB, limited to 200 copies, because me and Sherard think, let's do a credit card shaped keys. His idea is all about it's difficult in English. All about espionage. No, espionage. Yeah, yeah. This. So let's do credit card shaped, because also he's always posting in socials all these kind of science thing. Let's go credit card shaped. and obviously all the people coming from the dance world was like, nah, we hate this, is already gone, we need to play it on our turntable. So this is a vinyl version with the 2 tracks more, and we can listen maybe
sure.
just
Let's
like
listen to something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was the end. I haven't. It's DJ Stingray and. I really like that he was listening to my stuff putting together this. He admitted later, but he was listening to my stuff. So he went through some tracks he was making with this sounds because he said, yeah, maybe I thought you could like it more. It's like genius.
And that's fun.
Yeah, this is the best. And then we went. I always try to go dinner with him, and he asked me to open at his DJ set, one of these DJ set in Berlin, like, you know, just build a relationship out of passion. It's not really about business, but there is also room for that. So yeah, and the label is very wide range. Could be DJ Stingray, Florian Hacker, that is very abstract computer music. Could be Palmistry, that is R&B dancehall singer. It's about what I like.
Yeah, it's kind of telling the story of what you like
yes.
in music, not in words. So where are you going now? You have Persona, which is coming out on Warp in a few weeks. What are you thinking about as the next thing?
Album? No, I'm joking. Now I did Quantum Gel in 2012. Superimposition was 2014. This is 2016. I have 2 years, you know, every 2 years. I think I will putting out something sooner than waiting again for 2 years. But now the EP is there. I want to go out a bit from the studio and think about how to play this, because it's a bit different. And opening Ableton Live for the first time in my life, or maybe not. I have to. I really this when I'll be back from New York, because I go to New York, I will really focus on how to play the record, because it's different and always been very easy to me play the record, because it was the same thing I was doing in the studio. This is different. I have to focus on that, learn other things.
How is it different?
Because there are more layers and different sounds, a bit more structure. This is what changed the changes. So yeah, I have to take care of this. I'm not scared, but I'm stressed a bit. Because I don't know where I go. I don't know where I'm gonna take this. Also, I'm speaking very about which controller I'm gonna use, how I'm gonna put it together. So, as we all know, that there are thousands of things, and the way you could do one thing could be you can take from so many different side. This is very interesting. Which controller, which software
Are you going to take the Roland JXP with you?
JP. Don't.
Sorry. Yeah, you can't do that.
Hopefully yes. Yeah, I will take it, but it's gonna be a different way of playing it, because there is a VST that can control it from the computer. So I'm gonna work on a lot of automation, and I was working a bit before too. Automation to make it play by himself. Because there is a lot of, for like old synths or hardware synths, you can find the VST, and you can just give the automation, And this is perfect because like automatic pilot of your synth, and maybe you can leave open just a few parameters, and then he's play by himself. This is what my idea.
Sounds like it involves some more studying.
I don't want to make many things live. No, I want to be good, not show I'm good. I am. I want to sound good. Stop when it needs to stop. Start when it needs to start. I don't. I'm about that. So if he's playing everything by himself and I have to adjust few things, I'm happy with that. I need to work on it. I don't know. We'll see.
You can be adjusting the CO2 cannons.
Yeah, I will just play himself with CO2 cannons.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lorenzo Senni. We're gonna open it up to questions from the participants now. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and somebody will have a mic.
Hello. So it was interesting hearing how one of the purposes of you making your music was a lack of resolution in all of your tracks. So like I wanted to know what you thought about people, like there have been a lot of DJ edits that have arisen from your tracks, people putting pop acapellas and people putting like beats and like forcing resolution onto it. I want to know what you thought about it, and like if it made you think about your music in a different way or like showed you something.
Yes, it was a great, it was very inspiring to me, because I think I will never had the courage of doing myself in that explicit way that make me think, this could work, and it was very inspiring and was refreshing. And this is what is beautiful about the internet or the years that we are living now, that, this goes there and then everyone is doing what they want, but it comes back. It just doesn't stay there. It comes back and you have ideas. Because, it's important, this kind of discussion and confrontation. This is amazing, and I want to try to make something in that direction too. But I have a story. When I did 2 tracks in not this album of How to Dress Well, the one before, and one of the tracks, it's one of the most almost like 1 million of views. I can like impossible views from my small contest. But the story behind this track is that at the end of my set in a festival, he was there because he played in a huge auditorium before, and he came and he was listening, and he started singing over to these chords that was kind of smooth, slow progression. he started to sing, and when it was a small stage, and I was looking like, fuck, it's him. I was looking at this concert before. Okay, he's singing over this. And then he came to me and said, like, do you want to send me the chords? And I'm trying to do something. And the track is almost 8 minutes, and is all my chords, just like this progression is singing over. There was a producer put together few things, and there is a final guitar solo, but it's a long track, and is amazing how when these things made me think maybe I can work in this direction, but it was difficult. That was me in first doing that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you. What was the first track you played at the Olympic pool on Saturday?
Evolver.
Okay. It's a new one or
no? That one was actually released in a small edition of tape. Okay. But this is the final version, because this was 8 or 9 minutes, but I went back to it. I added some notes, and actually I was speaking with Joel, the guy who put and I say, like, I have this stuff, how should sound. Oh, you should go down with these arpeggios and up with this, because it's gonna be more interesting, this to cover all the range. So yeah, so I bring back also the other track was a track that I played a few times, but I added the last part, and just like I have a lot of stuff that is there waiting the right moment. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi. Thank you for the lecture. It sounds very refreshing to me.
Okay.
I feel very close to your work because I use a lot of trance synthesizer in my own music, and I love it. And I'm also a big fan of Palmistry. Actually, I didn't know you were in contact, and now actually I understand. Like maybe for example, Comber Rag Mountains in his album.
What? Yeah, of course. But he said that he ripped me off, but it was like no. I mean, like. But do you know the track Lil Gem? We made it together. I mean, it's a constant.
Lil what?
Lil Gem, from him is just a track from his record on Presto. Lil Gem.
Yeah, it was a few times ago.
Sorry?
It was, when was the release?
A few years ago. Yeah, we made
I remember this.
We made it together. So it's a constant.
Yeah, and actually, it's what I love in both of your work is that minimal way to make songs and instrumentals. Actually, I'm very fascinated into how Palmistry is building his songs, because there is pretty much nothing, and I'm very fascinated about that, because you were saying earlier that you tried to make your sound dry. Yeah. This is something I can do, and I'm really I hope one day I will come to that point, when you can express a lot of emotion, and you say you were a romantic guy. I understand totally.
I don't know. I think about this.
Yeah, but I think when you listen to trance, like you're kind of a dramatic person in a way. I mean, like you.
It's why these kind of sounds or melodies become popular or mainstream. Because there is a lot of reason, in the sound itself. The super soul sound is a sound that is conceived to. There is a lot of harmonics because it is seven soul waves that you can detune. This produce a lot of harmonics, but very precise intervals, and this is how it works music since hundreds of years, and why we love this melody.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty simple and it's pretty
it's just
spontaneous.
Like full
That's
on,
and I'm sure
it's it touches everyone in some way. I don't know. It's like how it's a big talk about why. It's like
yeah, sure. Actually, I didn't have any precise question. It's just very interesting to me to speak to somebody like you. And yes, actually, I do have a question because I remember that time when I was like 13. I had the right to have this 1 hour on internet each night. And this is the first time I came back to trance music, hearing Gigi D'Agostino and Daddy DJ. Actually, L'amour toujours de Gigi D'Agostino. I think it's my favorite song of all times. And I wanted to know if, I guess is from Italy.
Yeah,
right?
he is from Italy, and he's very famous in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Too, yeah, very famous. And
He's not in France, actually. When I say his name, he's not that famous. Only the trancey people know.
Yeah, but he crossed over a bit also this kind of pop world because his tracks are not that. They engage also kind of. Who listen to pop is not that heavy, so he's very famous in Italy too, and he still play concerts, and he dressed like a crazy guy with it all makes sense to me. And
I wanted to know actually if you were if you feel like you're related to this guy at some point, or
if he went there.
No. If you have been influenced by.
No, not really. Not really. I know his work. I like his sound. The melodies are good actually, and he's making this kind of genre named lento violento. That is not properly trancey, but is this. Thing that he conceived. This is why I respect him, because he came out with this stuff that it doesn't really exist before, and he named it lento violento. That means slow and violent, and it's just very like these kind of beats with very minimal melodies on top of it, but very well developed melodies. So it came out with this genre, and is only him, let's say, doing that. I'm not influenced by him, but of course I know that even if I was not making music, everyone knows him in Italy.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But I respect his work.
Yeah, me too.
You
so
a bit more.
Yeah, maybe a bit more. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
She said that she had a question for me before.
Prepared.
Well, yeah. How are you?
All good?
That was my question.
Ah, really?
No, I'm joking. I'm just because the talk was like focusing on your work and everything, and I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about like the singing in Italy, especially in Bologna and Milan, I personally feel like there is a very, I mean, maybe there's not as many things going on as compared to New York or Berlin, but I found the community there is very tight and very supportive. And does living in both cities shape your work and help you develop in your creativity?
Yeah, that's very important because when I moved to Milan 7 years ago, I found a way to start that. Let's say music became a bit my job because the city is a bit like London. Milan is the London of Italy. It's very expensive, but there are possibilities. There are other people making music. So in order to stay there, I had to start making music for videos, and then parallel there was other people making music, and we could put on concert together, like Simone that has a label named Undebis that released Stargate, and other people from a bit different context, but you know, we all know that we are a small community, so we try to help out each other, even if we are all also very stuck in our position, you know, because this is part of also like being in a city and share things with other people, but not sharing everything, because you need still to do, you know, have like and yeah, when I moved to Milan, I went there because an art collector invited me and other 7 people to occupy one of these huge buildings that was abandoned. He was waiting to sell it. It was a factory inside the city, and we had the chance to stay together and yeah, put on a concert in a basement, and a way to give chance to other scene in the city to participate to it is a bit what they're doing other younger people in Milan with the Macau, and you also played there. So it's important the connection with the city, and we want to come back to put on shows, because we met so many. We had everyone play there, like Wolf Eyes, Emeralds, Stellar Emsers. So many people play there that someone stopped to play. Someone became like Code 9 played there, like all illegal 100 people. A gabber DJ set at the end. Always like that. Well, you know, it's important to keep this alive, and we had a period that we wanted to do only our things, but then we are getting older and we realize that we have to come back sharing with the younger. And I don't want to make the mistake that older generation made with me. So I want to be, okay, now I'm going to do something with this guy, just like put something on, because I don't want to make the mistake of just like close myself in my studio and I go to play and then come back. It's important to share stuff with. I was in the same position. I was, and probably I'm sure older musician was looking at myself in the same way. So I need to go away from that. So.
Hello again. Hi. So I have a second question. Normally I would not ask this question because I don't feel very strongly about genre genre distinctions as a musician. I think music is music, and the indexing of music should be outside of the concerns of a producer, at least when active. And so I happen to make techno music without a kick, amongst other things. And so it was interesting to hear you talk about your not trance, in a sense. So actually, the question is not as much what do you call it. It's, how do you present your project? How do you present yourself? This is something I think is probably more important to producers. How do you present you?
We have these things that are social network. That is also working when you are 5 people, you are socializing. So it's like, what you're doing, people what kind of music you're doing. At that point, you have to be able to explain what you're doing in an interesting way, or at least in a way that is easy to understand, hopefully, that go very fast to the point, and that is not boring. But this is not something that you think before to leave your bedroom. Okay, if someone asking me, I'm saying this. It's just a matter of time, and I collect keywords like Pointillistic Trance, circumscribed euphoria, just to give this small inputs that, believe it or not, is gonna work. It's just because then while you're doing that, you convince yourself, and you are on the bus, and you're thinking beautiful perpetual trance. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna next time I'm tweeting something, I'm using purple, and then you're just well, it's something that you have to think, not thinking to it. Just remember to put notes, and that's gonna help you to present your project. It's important, it's right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hello. Since we were on the topic of keywords, I just wanted to know what you thought about deconstructed club music as an umbrella term.
Yeah. Again, was an easy way to call what some people were maybe included me or doing at a certain point, like me, Lee Gamble, Gabor Lazar that I released on my label, and other people, Mark Fell too, and it was, you need this to engage, start the discussion. Then I'm not a big fan of the word, but I understand why when it's been used, and I have to accept it. What I don't like is if you speak about deconstructed trance in your article and you don't come to talk to me when I'm playing, and then it's strange. But I understand why, I'm not Nazi in this way. I quite like also interpretation. Everyone is whatever.
Do you feel like the evolution of that term was very quick or something? Because it felt like since we're in the internet age, by the time that thing started, and now it's already there's too much of it, but it didn't even start that long ago. And
it's already gone.
Yeah, it's already everyone's oh, it's not that cool. I don't want to keep me away from that,
Because maybe that's what I'm doing too. I don't really like, because this is again a way to generalize. It's necessary. I understand, when there are articles out or reviews, you cannot always go to meet the guy, speak with him an entire afternoon, and understand why is not deconstructed the club music the right terms. I understand that, you know. Just like I don't see, I'll never use that. I will never use that. So I'm not supporting it, but you know, I accept it.
Thank you so much.
One more question, and then I'm sure.
Thanks for the lecture. It was fun. Yeah, and as I understood, you are very into conceptuality, and even if you're in your music, in your live shows, even conceptuality.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and even in your artwork, cover artwork. So, and you use also artistic approaches in your live shows. So my question is, are you interested in contemporary art at this post-internet age?
Yeah.
Your favorite artist, maybe?
I always looking for it because not to get inspired. It's normal to me to check like art magazine and see because everything helps me to have a clear idea of what I'm doing for real. Like, okay, this I find this a bit connected to my work. Let's put this in my notes or aside because I'm probably going back there. So I always check contemporary art, but not in a pretentious way. Like I always had artist make my album cover, like Anne de Vries.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just saw something on the internet and I thought, oh, maybe it's not or maybe not. But yeah, it was with
the melting shoes.
Yeah, shoes.
But is zoomed in a art piece of him. It's just a stairs made out of melting shoes, and I was like, this makes sense to me a bit, like this, and so I wrote him like, what is going on here, and we started speaking, and he was working in a record shop, so he knew Editions Mego, and when I asked like, do you want to, can I use this for the cover because to me it makes so much sense. He said, like, of course, I know the label, I love it, let's do it. And with Ed Atkins, too.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Because he did the cover of the EP, and I was like, the idea behind was this rave voyeurism, and one part of his video is that this bald guy looking through a hole, but his nose is looking, but his nose is on the wall. So when you look and your nose is touching the wall, you are interested, you know. You're like, you know, but his face is not that interested. He's a very particular still. And I asked him, look, I need this image. I know I don't need that. I would love to use this image for this. And he said, like, oh, Lorenzo, I know your work, of course. So it's like...
That's really sweet.
If it makes sense to me, maybe makes sense also to the others.
You must write a really great email. We'll have to see those sometime.
It still take one afternoon.
Well, Lorenzo.
Really quick.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
2 seconds. Is that song you were talking about with How to Dress Well, is it Words I Don't Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
That's one of my top 5 songs of all time, so thank you very much.
Thank
I wanted
you.
to say and check.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
And I'm sure you'll be around if anybody has any more questions
Yeah, I'll be
off
around,
the mic. Thank you so much.